last year might have been one of the best Four Roses LE of all time. It's a pretty big standard to live up to. Check out what this year's does.
Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
I'm Zach.
And today we are going to review the Four Roses LE from this year, 2024.
It has been a struggle.
And we're just getting started.
This is our second video of the night of 9.
It is.
Wow. Anyways, guys, so this, comes on the heels of, I won't say the best LE that they've ever done, but one of the best LEs that they've ever done. Yeah, last year was
really good.
It was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the best whiskeys all year.
Yeah.
And now I have like an eyelash in my eye. Struggle bus over here. Anyways, back to Four Roses. Four Roses also did us a huge solid this year by doing a release at the distillery during KBF.
Yep.
Do we know what the final bottle count was? Was it like 1,000 at each or 500 at each?
I think there was more released at Lawrenceburg, and then Cox's was a little less.
I don't know. I feel like it was like around 500 each. All I do know is I got there at Cox's Creek at like, I don't know what time I got there, like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Something. I waited like 45 minutes. I got a wristband. I went home. I went back home, slept.
Yeah.
So it's kind of awesome. But anyways, going back to this year's Four Roses, it is 108.2 proof. The blend of it, I had to make sure I had it written down. It's 31% 12-year-old OBSV, 23% 15-year-old OESK, 39% OESF, and that's 16 years old, and then 7% is a 20-year OBSV.
So this booger's got some age to it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's got some age to it.
Yeah, it has some. It definitely has some age shit.
There were 16,680 bottles of this sucker made,
which is quite a bit.
Which is a lot. So it's going to be able to be had. If you're really looking for it, you should be able to find it.
Well, and considering like majority of it is like 16.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bottles. That's a lot of barrels.
Yes.
And according to Brent, whenever he did his blind, I think they had like 20 something different ones or whatever, and this was either like number 7 or 17. I can't remember what he said, and he's like, whenever I tried it, I knew exactly. He's like, I knew it before I was even done.
Yeah,
it was going to win.
Yeah.
So, and it's also went up a little bit in price. It's like $220 now.
Yes, but on the secondary, you're still going to get it for not too it's not like a terrible. I think Zach and I've talked about this on the secondary. Why this bottle doesn't. I mean, not that I'm promoting secondary and blah, 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 all that stuff, but of all the secondary that's out there, and you in the bourbon world know it, this, for some reason, never pulls the demand that some other things pull.
Until last year.
Well,
last year was that year where we'd always kind of talked about it.
But you still could get that bottle for $400 if you wanted it.
You had to wait.
But you could get it.
I understand, but you had to wait. And I think then once people figured out how good it was, then it went up.
Yeah.
But that same thing with Single Rick House. So Single Rick was around 400 for a while, and then it went up because everybody realized how good it was.
Yeah.
So
anyway, really excited about this. Before we get too far into this, hit the like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. That way you can be informed when we ever drop videos, which is usually 3 to 4 times a week.
It'll be 4 times for a while because we got a lot of reviews to do.
He thinks that I'm working that hard, but I'm not working that hard.
And he doesn't know.
I've agreed. In our contract, it says 3 videos a week.
Where do we have a contract?
I don't know, in my head. I have a contract in my head.
First off, that means you have to do additional work, and I know that's not happening.
We're getting there. We're getting there. I mean, right away.
This smells gorgeous.
Yeah, right away, like the fruit.
It's like a tropical, mixed drink, but not a ton of alcohol in it. More like the fruits and everything else on there.
It reminds me kind of a pina colada without the colada part of it. Without the
So what is that then?
peanut.
You had to work hard not to screw that one up, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
No, like it does smell very tropically, but not like the coconut smell in there. That's what I'm saying. Minus the coconutty smell in it.
When was KBF? Like 3 weekends ago? 4 weekends ago?
I think it was 3 weekends ago.
Something like that. I opened it that day I got it, and I poured out a bunch of pours, or a bunch of samples. So this is basically, it's had some decent airtime for going on 3 weeks-ish,
Yeah.
a little bit more.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. There's a little bit of rye spice. Some earthy tones to it too, but they're just like, they're very subtle. The predominant thing is like red, juicy fruit.
Yes.
Very much like, almost like artificial slushy flavors in there.
I can get that. I can get down with that. Yeah. It smells good. It smells different than most of the LEs that we've had over the last few years.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you can go.
Still a lot of fruit, but then it turns into like a maple syrup pancake. Not a ton of pancake, like not a ton of breading of that, but like mixed in with like a blackberry. Which normally I hate blackberries because I had a bad experience with blackberries one time. But I actually don't hate that at all.
There's a lot of rye spice on that.
Mm-hmm.
To me, and that's the predominant. I feel like that's predominant to me.
There's also a really dark cherry note in there too, like a syrupy kind of dark cherry. Almost like it's like one of those, like you're adding like cherry syrup to a Coke to make a cherry Coke, but not so much like the soda aspect, just like the cherry sauce.
A little bit of honey in there. There's a little bit of oak in there. I get what you're saying with the blackberry. But really, it's more rye forward than I anticipated it to be.
I don't feel like there's as much rye in there as that. Like there's some of it, but I still feel like it's still bright and fruity, predominantly. I don't think you like this.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really like it. I don't think there's enough on the palate. I don't feel like it's diverse at all on the palate. I just feel like it's just kind of okay on the palate. And with that, maybe it's allspice or rye spice. It just seems predominantly spicy to me, and not hot. It just seems spicy. Like, I don't know. Some of those other flavors just seem very muted behind that, and to me, looking at this as it's a $225, $230 bottle. I don't love it.
I like it.
I can see that from you.
There's also like a Fig Newton cookie on the back in the palate, start of that finish.
Yeah.
I like it. Let me say this. It is not last year's Four Roses.
No.
Last year's Four Roses, something special. Just take that one out. To me, I feel like this is along the lines of like 21. Like I think it was 21 that we liked a lot.
Yeah.
22 I liked, but it had that maple note that really kind of made it stand out.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't put last year's in here just because I think last year blows us out of the water. But I think it's really good.
Yeah, I feel like you got some dark fruit notes in there that you probably like too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the palate, and the finish just kind of isn't there. Like to me, I don't know. There's just something about it that I don't enjoy.
I'm surprised because there's a little bit of a tobacco note on the
there
finish
is.
too. That
And that helps.
Normally, once you hit a tobacco note for Dave,
Yeah, and that helps.
It's put a soul on it.
I mean, that helps it, but I don't know. I feel like the nose feels so different than the palate.
There's a little bit to that. I think where there is some bright fruity notes predominantly on that nose, you still get like a rich sweetness on the palate.
But I don't know if it's because we had that toasted in front of this or what.
You had to have the toasted first.
Well, I felt like it was the lowest proof one. I felt like we probably should.
Honestly, I don't feel like that toasted mess. We just did the Michter's toasted review beforehand, so I don't know which one we're dropping first. So I don't want to talk about that one. But I don't know. I think this is good. I think it's actually really good.
Yeah. I mean, we don't normally like completely
disagree.
Yeah,
we've kind of just disagreed in back to back, like.
Yeah. I don't know that we completely disagree on the other one, but
you would have bought the other one. I wouldn't have bought the other one.
No, I wouldn't have bought it for $100. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was glad that I traded for it opposed to. So, yeah. All right.
Spoiler alert for the other review. All right, so I'm a buy, and look. Do I understand it's expensive? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I understand that? Here's the sneaky truth about Four Roses Ellie's. If we're going to talk about the really bad place online with the secondary, normally you can kind of steal one of these on the secondary for what is in it. And I mean, at the end of the day, yes, it's only 7%, but there's 20-year-old whiskey in it.
I mean, there's 30-something percent of 16-year in it. So.
Yeah, so I mean, there is some age to it.
There is some age to it. That's why I'm surprised, because Four Roses usually does a really good job. I'm usually really happy with any of their products that's like 12 years and above.
Yeah, I agree.
They usually do a really good. And again, this one just doesn't hit my palate right for some reason, and maybe we'll come back to it at some point and I'll like it better, but like, as far as a review goes, I will be searching more for a Russell's 15 than I would be for this.
Well,
and that's just because
that's one of the best bourbons all year, though.
Yeah, but sometimes this is too.
True, it's contentious.
So that's why I'm saying, like, if I'm going to put my money somewhere, I'm going to probably.
I won't say right now that this is one of the best bourbons we've had all year, but I think it's probably between 7 and 15 for me.
Maybe. You'll fight for that like I fought for double, twice barreled sherry cask, single malt.
Oh, don't you dare compare those two together.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to be interested. I want to come back to this at some point, but not for this video. I just think for me, I would put my money in other areas, and Zach is obviously a buy. Mm-hmm. And that's the beautiful thing about bourbon. Sometimes we don't agree.
That is true, and sometimes Dave is wrong. So anyways.
Yeah, that is true. Sometimes I am very wrong.
I'm kidding. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notifications button. And until next time.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.